morning. We're here, we're live, we're ready to dive into day 2 of Client Attraction Alchemy. So as you're finding me, say hi in the comments. Let me know if you're live. Let me know if you're on the replay. We have got a fabulous session lined up for you today. I can't wait to dive into all the things with you. So firstly, how is everybody feeling? How are you feeling today? Are you feeling excited? Are you feeling on top of the world? Are you ready to rock this? How did yesterday's task go? I would love to know how many of you managed to do the task and shared it into the group. I read through so many of them last night. Absolutely beautiful, spot on. You're rocking it. It's fantastic. So good to see that you're taking on board some of these concepts, that you're feeling into it and allowing it to kind of percolate and grow within you so that you really do begin to play a bigger game when it comes to your client attraction alchemy. Right, so day 2, what are we doing? We are diving into making your message more magnetic. Because here's the thing. As we go through, I'm just going to change my desk a minute. I feel a bit small. That's better. So as we go through this week, through this experience, we're building step by step on what we're doing. So yesterday we really looked at what's holding you back from attracting more clients. What are the pieces that feel misaligned? What are the pieces that feel icky? What are the pieces that you're struggling with? And what are the things actually that it takes to start growing your client attraction alchemy, to become more visible, to attract soul clients who are actually ready to buy now? So we began the conversation yesterday, and then I shared one important concept around how you can be both broad, big picture, and specific. And who can remember, what was that? What was it called? Sorry, because I know I'm still like super croaky. I've still got a hell of a cold going on here. I don't know why it's taking me so long to shift it. So who can remember that? Was the umbrella, baby, the umbrella. So we talked about the umbrella and how that can really set you free when it comes to your positioning. God, I'm really struggling to talk more than I thought I was. So we talked about having the broad, big picture at the top and then all of the specifics underneath, right? So that you can be big in what you do. You don't have to put yourself in a box, but still your message can be really specific. It can hold real certainty. It can be really compelling to your soul clients. Yeah, you with me? You remember that? The whole day yesterday ago. And I know lots of you dived into that. You were feeling into it. And then, of course, yesterday's task. I'm actually going to share my screen for a minute just to refresh everyone's memory. Is there anyone who's here today who wasn't here yesterday, by the way? Just let me know that. Share screen, share screen, share screen. So yesterday's task, if you remember, was having a quick look at mapping out the journey. What's point A? What's point B? What are those core pieces that people kind of have to move through on their journey to creating the results they desire with you? And we talked about how you could do that from the perspective of the umbrella, like the big picture of your business, or from one of your offers. Yeah? Are you with me still? Give me a little yes. And then we started to drill down into that specificness a little bit more. And I asked you to really feel into all the emotional outcomes that your soul clients are searching for, the things that aren't tangible, the feelings that matter so much to people, right? And the external outcomes, the actual tangible things that are measurable. So I know lots of you did this because I saw it in the thread. So whoop, well done. And I know some of you might still be feeling into it, thinking about it, giving it time to kind of settle, and I know you're going to get to it. So just tell me in the comments. Let me have a little look at the comments that you're all writing in. Tell me in the comments, where did you get to with that and how did it feel? How did it feel? Whew. Janet, the umbrella, it's like being your own holding company. Exactly, Janet. That's a brilliant way of describing it, for sure. Yes. Audrey, you missed yesterday. No problem. You can always catch up. You weren't here yesterday. Okay, so a couple of you weren't here yesterday. That's cool. Don't panic. Number 1, the replay is available, so you can go back to that later on today. Number 2, today will still make sense. Don't worry about it. You'll just be able to go back and revisit yesterday because we had lots of conversations that are going to be super, super useful for you. My God, my voice sounds awful. I'm so sorry. Let me have another sip of coffee. Okay, so as I said today, we want to dive into making your message more magnetic because there's a process here. There's absolutely no point in you going out there to the world, to the internet, to all things global, and trying to spread your message further if your message isn't hitting home, right? If right now it feels like you're creating posts, you're sharing, but your content is completely falling flat, it might mean that we need to work on your content. It might mean that we need to fine tune your message. It might mean that there are pieces that we need to put in place in terms of how you're showing up so that your message is magnetic to your soul clients, right? And if you've been trying to do this for a while and you feel like it's still not working, please don't panic, because the thing to remember here is, if you keep on going, you will get there. I guarantee it. I can't tell you, in the early days of trying to build my business, how many times I honestly felt like I was hitting my head against a brick wall because I just couldn't seem to crack it. And I kept on asking myself, what am I getting wrong? What am I getting wrong? Like, what is it that's just not connecting here? So I want you to know that you will get there if you're struggling. And obviously, everything that we're going to be covering this week is designed to help you with that. I'm just going to open my door to get some air in. Okay, so we're going to build. Step one needs to be making your message magnetic. We need to work on really sharing the value of what you do with your soul client so they get it. So it kind of lights up. It's that light bulb moment. Ding! Oh my God, this is the person I need. Oh my God, this is a product I need. Oh my God, this is the course, the service, the one-to-one, the whatever it is that I absolutely need. How do we make sure that the way that you're sharing grabs the attention of your soul client? How do we make sure your message hits home? How do we make sure it has that magnetism about it, that it's going to get someone to stay with you, to continue consuming your content and to buy from you, right? Once we've nailed that piece, then we need to look at how are we being consistent with actually sharing that message. Because it's one thing to have a powerful message, but it's another thing if we're all over the place spaghetti marketing, we haven't got consistency, content creation is really hard, it's taking a huge amount of our time, and it feels like we're always second guessing ourselves, right? So step two needs to be, I've got a way of sharing this in a, when I say consistent, by the way, I don't mean it's got to be every single day. I just mean it's got its own rhythm. It's got a rhythm that flows, right? So we need to find the rhythm to your content so that you can share it with ease, so that it doesn't feel a big, horrible task, so that it's actually an enjoyable part of your business. Once we've put that in place, then we need to move to step three. And step three, now that we've got a magnetic message, you're showing up consistently, you'll be activating those people currently in your audience when you do that, by the way. And this is how it's not just a numbers game, and you don't need to go far and wide to find like new people. Like, we need to activate your people first, because I guarantee it, whether you know it or not, you have got people in your space who can be activated. And then finally, step three is we need to take on board that strategy that's going to get you beyond your current bubble, where you do reach beyond your current world and bring people into you. Okay, so you can think of it as a three-step process. We need to make sure all three steps are in place if we really want next level client attraction alchemy happening, if we really want to alchemize this, if we really want to create next level success with this. Because what do more clients equal? More clients who are super connected, who are super aligned, who are soul clients, equal more sales, equal you doing your work in the world, equal you having more freedom and purpose and joy, and of course equals your client gaining what they're searching for, because right now they've got a problem, they've got a desire, they've got something that they want help with, and they're literally waiting for you. Are you with me? Okay. How off-putting is my croaky voice? Is that okay? Because I feel a bit guilty being all super like croaky up for you. Not that I can do anything about it. Why do I feel guilty? I don't know. Human coming in. All right, cool. So I might keep today's session a little bit shorter than usual, because I can feel that talking is definitely not happening with ease. And I want to make sure that we don't lose my voice, because I've got a lot to share with you this week. I need to share all the things. We don't want my voice disappearing halfway through the process. So quick bit of housekeeping before we dive into today, right? First thing is we have 2 epic masterclasses that are going to take place at the end of these 4 days. These masterclasses, well, one is going to have to be the bubble bursting strategy, because I need to teach you what are the strategies to get beyond your bubble. How do you attract in more clients? When we've got these 4 pieces in place, what are the actual things that you can do? What's one thing, one strategy that you can run per month to really grow your audience with soul clients. So that's going to be the bubble bursting strategy bonanza. This is one of the masterclasses I'm going to be sharing. It's going to be Sunday night, 6:30 Sunday night. I need to give you a sign up because it's not here, it's happening on Zoom. I'm going to create a sign up today. I'm going to create the sign up today, and then I am going to share it with you this afternoon in the group. So keep a lookout for that. So that's the first masterclass. The second masterclass is going to happen next Tuesday, not Monday, because here in the UK it's a bank holiday, and hopefully the sun might be shining and everyone will be enjoying the outdoors, I hope. So Tuesday is going to be the second masterclass, and this is where we've got a few options. So there are a few different masterclasses that I can actually run with you. We can do one about launching to really take things to the next level, or we can do one more about the inner work. So, and like your money mindset. So I'm going to feel into which is going to be most aligned for you, and I'm going to put a poll in the group for that later today. Okay, so keep your eyes peeled. We're going to do that. As you know, I'm live again tomorrow and Friday. For those of you who are new to this space, I have got something to share with you that's exciting tomorrow. Some of you already know about it. I am reopening the doors. I'll share about that tomorrow. We don't need to get into it today. Anything else that I need to share? Okay, that's it. Are we ready to go? Are we ready to dive in? Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. Okay, so where do I want to start with this? Give me a second. Do I want to start there? No, let me find my, hold on. I made a new little list of notes that I wanted to go through with you. All right. So we've got our umbrella. We've got our big picture. We've got all our pieces underneath that allow us to be super specific with our message. The next thing that I really want you to think about is the transformation you facilitate versus the vehicle you do it with. Now, those of you who have done my programs or who have been in my launches before, you probably know this, but let's revisit it because it's so freaking important. And this is one of the mistakes that I see people making again and again and again and again when it comes to sharing their message. So here's how I want you to think of this. You have your soul client who is where they are now, and they have a problem and they have a desire. Yeah, so we have our client in the now, they have a problem, they have a desire, okay? They know they've come to a point where they're like, it's time to change this baby. And so they have where they desire to be. So like end results / desire / solution, okay? So we have the start of our journey, which is now, and the end of our journey, okay? Now, the end of their journey might not be the very end of the journey. It might be like one product that you take them through, one service that you take them through that takes them one step, and then they might do something else, which is the next step, or it might all be in one step. So that's going to be different depending on where you are in that journey, okay? So then we have the way that you facilitate that transformation, okay? So this is your tools or it's your craft, right? This is like the car. I'm drawing a little car in there for you. So we have the way that you hold that transformation, the way you facilitate that transformation. These are the tools that you use, or your craft. So this is coaching. This is mindset. This is dog training. This is sorry about that. This is what is this? This is like the oils that you use, the lotions that you sell, the aromatherapy that you do, the cards that you read, all of these things, right? So essentially, your craft, your tools, that's the vehicle. I want you to think of like your coaching or the tools that you use as the vehicle that facilitates the transformation. So here's the thing. Most people, especially coaches, who's a coach here? Tell me who's a coach here. I know lots of you are coaches, but I know lots of you are doing other things as well. If you're a coach, just put me, right? Because coaches are especially like in this camp. When people are talking about the work that they do, they talk about the tool or the craft. the vehicle instead of the transformation. Now, is the vehicle important? Yes, because it's your particular way of facilitating the transformation in your client. It's how you get them from A to B, yeah? So that's important because one person might choose coaching, one person might choose healing, one person might choose nutrition, one person might, like, people are going to choose their vehicle of choice. It's like one person's going to get the bus, one person's going to drive the Mini, like everyone will choose their vehicle of choice that aligns for them. But we don't get in a car just for the sake of getting in the car, right? We don't go, I know what I'm going to do today. I'm going to go ride the bus. I mean, we might do occasionally, but it's not going to happen very often, right? I know what I'm going to do today. I'm just going to get in the car and drive. Usually 99% of the time, we use the vehicle for a reason, for a purpose. Are you with me? So someone wants to utilize your vehicle purpose. So if I was thinking about getting the train to Chester Zoo for the day, what's the bit that's going to actually get me excited? If you're selling me the train journey and you're going to come to the train station and you'll pick up your ticket and there are booths so you can buy yourself a coffee before you get on the train, and then when you get on the train you've got a choice. You can go standard class, you can go first class. You're going to have your very own seat, there's space to put your bag, there's these big windows that you can look out of on the journey. It's like, yeah, okay, all right, it's sounding all right, it's not sounding terrible, right? But for what purpose? Where am I actually going? What's the thing that's going to actually sell me on that trip? It's not hearing about how amazing the train journey is. It's hearing about the freaking zoo. When you arrive at the zoo, you are going to have the best day ever. You're going to be able to watch the tigers being fed, and you're going to be able to interact with the chimps. You're going to be able to walk through the garden of butterflies. You're going to be able to blah, 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 right? There's going to be breakout areas. There's going to be practical sessions. You're going to be able to learn about blah, 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 blah. Like, that's the thing that's going to get me excited if I'm wanting to go to the zoo, right? So if someone's selling me this ticket and it includes the train journey and the zoo, but it's the zoo that I'm actually going to, why would you keep on talking about the train journey? Why would you keep selling that? That's just a vehicle to get to the place. It's not the big kahuna. It's not the exciting piece. But here's what people are doing in their businesses all the time. They're talking about the journey. They're talking about the train. They're not talking about how freaking incredible it's going to be when we get to this place that we desire to be. Yes, unless it's the Orient Express, of course. That's different. Right. And that's probably a good, I'm glad that you said that, Anna, because there are a few of you, the unicorns in your business, whereby the journey is the journey, like the journey is the thing, but you're going to be few and far between. You're going to be the 1%, not the 99%. Okay. So is it worth you talking about the journey? Yes. Because is, for example, going on the train going to be a selling point, especially if it's a nice train, especially if something good is going to happen on the train, especially if the train is different, right? So if the mode of transportation even, to get to the zoo, there's something special about, there's something different about, there's something awesome about, and of course there will be because it's you and it's the thing that you're doing, then you do want to sell it and you do want to talk about it because it's like, it's part of the magic. But don't just sell that. Don't just talk about the vehicle and completely forget about actually the end result, where you're going to, the final destination. So this is what I want you to really begin thinking about today. When it comes to your social media, how are you really talking about that final destination? Because this is one of the places that most of us as heart-led entrepreneurs shy away from. Because we've seen people do the hard sell. We've seen people just sell lies. In fact, it was only yesterday I was on Instagram and a little ad popped up that gets rid of like dark spots on your skin. And I've got a couple of sunspots that I've had for years since having children. And it made me laugh because literally it shows this video, it shows them putting a bit of this oil on someone's skin, and then like the whole dark spot just rubs off like that. And here's the crazy thing. I actually fell for that a couple of months ago and I bought some and I used it and it didn't do a damn thing. It didn't even change it after using it, like the whole bottle, let alone actually getting rid of it on one thing. So we've all been like missold to on numerous occasions. I'm so sorry that I keep coughing. So what it's done is it's turned us off. It's made us afraid to own the transformation. Because of course, we can't guarantee the transformation, right? When it comes to working with clients, we can never guarantee it because we don't know what the client is going to do. Like if someone can guarantee a cream working, but can you guarantee that cream is going to work for me? Well, no, because am I even going to use it? Am I going to keep on using it? I'm going to use it with other skincare. Like what are my hormones? What else am I putting in my body? Like there's so many different factors that impact whether we actually get to that result or not. But that doesn't mean you can't sell that end result, because of course you can. You're not saying I 100% guarantee every single one of you will achieve this no matter what. But you can talk about that. You can talk about the zoo. You can talk about how amazing it is. You can talk about that place that your clients desire to get to, as long as you know the thing that you do works, right? If it doesn't work, then don't. It's totally a Joe Dispenza cleanse. I know, because I don't get colds like this. I never get a cold that hangs around for like, my colds are normally like 24-hour colds. So the fact that I've still got this going on is definitely a Joe Dispenza, like clearing out the old, make space for the new. I know it's just a bit frustrating because I need to be able to talk. So we want to own that transformation. So the first thing that I want you to look at today, and I just wanted you to tell me in the comments, on a scale of 1 to 10, how fully are you owning that transformation, talking about the Zoom in your social media? How much do you talk about that? How much do you paint the picture? How much do you describe what it looks like, what it feels like? How often do you like, how do you really share it? How do you really share it? Okay, Tanya says a 3. What about everyone else? I'm going to wait while you type it in because it's going to help me avoid having to talk. I'm going to have to do a short session with you, I think, today. What I might do is, if we have to cut today's session a bit short because I'm really struggling to talk, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the last time that I ran this that day too, so you can watch that as well. And then I'll be here and better and we'll rock day 3. Is that all right? Can we have like a little agreement on that? Will you forgive me if I do that? We'll see how, if I start coughing loads, then we'll do that, because I don't just want to have like a mad coughing fit all morning with you. All right, thank you. Okay, so yes, we want to talk about point A, where they are now. Yes, we want to talk about the vehicle, but we also really want to make sure that we're owning the transformation, because essentially it's the transformation that the person desires. So if you do something and get specific with this. Actually, I'm going to skip ahead and I'm going to tie this in, because the transformation will tie in to a person's, where is it? To a person's primary needs, right? So I want you to think about, how does the thing that you sell, whether you're product-based or service-based, how does the thing that you sell tie into the primary needs of your soul client? So what are the primary needs? Who knows what the primary needs are? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 primary needs. And when it comes to you selling the transformation, you need to make sure that that transformation encompasses at least one of these primary needs, maybe more. And you need to really own that. So primary needs, what are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First primary need is money. Money, okay? It's making money, it's saving money, it's being smart with money. this is one of the transformations that people are scared to own, especially heart-led entrepreneurs, because they don't want to feel icky, they don't want to feel salesy, they don't want to do it like those people who they've seen doing it where it feels really wrong. How many of you have seen people like selling something that's going to make you money and it's made you feel really icky? So, for example, there's definitely been things around Bitcoin with this where it's felt really icky and it's been like, oh no. I get a million messages a day, I'm sure many of you do, saying, hey, like, are you interested in having an appointment setter who's going to make you X number of sales in a day and make you like 10 times your income? Feels icky, but the reason it feels icky is, number one, there's no relationship. There's no relationship that's been built. Usually those people are kind of cold outreaching. There's no relationship there. We're like, who the heck are you? And why are you telling me that I should be making money, right? So the first thing to realize is it feels icky because there's no relationship. The second reason that it feels icky is that there's no purpose behind it, right? Money is not good or bad. Money is a facilitator. Money opens doors. Money amplifies what we already are, right? Most people in business, especially heart-led entrepreneurs like you, like me, it's not about the money. It's about the thing that the money does, right? Of course. Like, I'm sure that none of us just want to put money in the bank, money in the bank, money in the bank, just have money for the sake of having money. It's like, no, we want to create more money because of everything that means. Bringing in the money means you're making that impact. Bringing in the money gives you choices. Bringing in the money allows you to have a bigger impact. It allows you to live a bigger life. It allows you to create that ripple effect. I'm sure each and every one of you could sit down right now and write a huge list of really beautiful, positive reasons that would be like for you to have more money. In fact, could even be worth you doing that. If you've got any kind of resistance inside of you as I'm talking about this, I'd suggest that today you sit down, you title it like reasons for me to have more money now, and you write that list of all the beautiful things that you can do, create by having more, right? So we know that it's not about the money, it's about what the money creates. But don't shy away from the money. Just because someone else has sold something in a way that's felt icky doesn't mean that it's going to feel icky when you do it. It felt icky when they did it because there was no relationship and no purpose behind the money, right? And it was probably just an empty promise. So your inner like dial went whoop, whoop, whoop. Integrity alert, like this person is not authentic. That's not you. You care deeply about what you do. And when you see people, because this is one of the things that's really freaking annoying me right now, I've got to tell you, it's driving me insane. It's really pissing me off. There are a lot of people on the internet right now, coaches and the likes, who are chastising people, coaches and other people, for like talking about the money. And it's like, hang on a minute here. Who are you talking to? Because those coaches, who is it who's going to be absorbing the information that they say? Is the person who doesn't give a shit about who they sell to, how they sell, they just do want to make the money. It is just about the money. Are they going to listen to that coach saying it's wrong to sell about this? Like in the world right now, you shouldn't be doing it. Or is this person going to completely ignore them and go and do the damn thing anyway, completely out of alignment, completely inauthentically, really not giving a damn and just out for themselves? No. Who's the person who's going to listen to this coach and then going to hold themselves back because they feel uncomfortable about selling and owning the results and honoring themselves? Well, it's people like you, right? It's people like you who care deeply about what you do, because the moment you see someone saying, no, you should not be, how dare you talk about the money when all of these things are happening in the world and there are starving children and there are this and there are that, like you need to stop. What's that going to do to you? It's going to make you go, oh, you're right. How can I? Like, I feel so bad. Like, maybe everyone will think that I'm greedy or heartless. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about this. Maybe she's right. And if there's a couple of those coaches say it, bum, 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 what's going to happen? All those people who are heart-led in the world, who we freaking well need to be building businesses, who need to be making the money, who are going to do damn good things with that money, who are going to create this beautiful ripple effect with the work that they do, what are they going to do? They're going to shrink away. They're not going to make the sales. They're not going to honor themselves. They're not going to honor the sale. They're not going to allow themselves to share like their real magic, their real truth, the things that they want to say. They're going to hold back because they're going to be afraid of being judged as greedy, wrong, selfish, all the other things. So getting back on board a little bit, it's really important that we give ourselves permission to own the primary need that we facilitate within our businesses. So if the primary need that you hold that transformation around is money, own it. Own it. Do not be apologetic about it. If the primary need is health, own it. Do not be apologetic about it. Own it. If the primary need is relationships, own it fully. If the primary need is status, what status? It's like success, it's being known, then own it. And if the primary purpose is meaning, then own it. Now, it's a lot easier from what I've seen and from all hundreds of clients that I've worked with, hundreds, probably thousands actually of clients that I've worked with at this point. It's generally easier if the primary need that you sell within your business is meaning, well, that generally feels a bit easier than it might to be money or to be health. Health and money are probably two of the most difficult ones. Relationships is up there too, because we weave in all of our stories, we weave in all of our limiting beliefs, and then we don't own it in our content and in our sales. So I've gone wildly off track, but I feel like this is important. This all ties back into what I was talking about, this. So what is, just tell me in the comments, what is the primary need, the core primary need that you support people with in your business? Is it money? Is it health? Is it relationships? Is it status? Is it meaning? Type it into the comments, let me know, and I'm going to blow my nose as you do that. Appearance, I think, would come under, it depends. It could be status or it could be health, depending on what. So if it's like skincare and things, it could be status. But again, but if it's like anti-aging, stuff like that, that could be health. So there could be a bit of crossover. Okay, so we've got health, we've got relationships, we've got meaning and money. Okay, cool. Do you all feel clear on what the primary need is that you support your clients with in the work that you do, whether you're service-based or product-based? Jessica, somehow the people who give the most are often valued the least. Yes, I'm trained as a nurse, and even when the world was going, hold on, let me try and see the rest of that, was going down in the sea crisis, that acknowledgement of clapping on the balcony, nice to have, but didn't pay the bills. Yeah, and it's tied into, like, very often the health piece and the purpose piece is tied into that really old belief that you should be doing this for free. Like, people shouldn't get paid to help people spiritually. People shouldn't get paid to help people with health. When we know that's nonsense, and you've probably heard me share this before, it actually goes back to a misunderstanding around how shamans worked in their villages. So going all the way back to the times when shamans were like, they were the person of the village, well, the whole village supported them. So shamans didn't get paid for the work that they did. There wasn't like a trade that happened. Instead, the shaman was like taken care of in every single way. The village like fed the shaman, prepared food for the shaman, gave the shaman everything they needed, right? So what's happened over time is that message has been like misunderstood. And it's like, no, the shaman worked for free. No, they freaking well didn't. The shaman was like the most highly honored in the village. who gave health and purpose and all of those things. So it actually ties back to that. And then, of course, the witch wounds, etc., which has created this complete illusion around what you should be allowed to receive as someone in like the healing space or the spiritual space. It's the most craziest thing possible. Right. So, all right. So I want you to feel into this. I want you to look at your content. I want you to look at your content on social media. And I want you to think about what is it that you're really talking about on social media? How often are you talking about point A, the problem, versus point B, the solution or the desired end result? How often are you talking about the vehicle? How do you talk about the vehicle? Do you tie this in with the primary need within your business, or do you hold yourself back a little bit? And do you lead with the actual transformation? Because remember, it's the transformation that people are going to get most excited about. But we can't be apologetic. We can't be like half in, half out. We can't like hide out as we share that. We've got to own it fully. Yeah. Okay. So this takes me to point 2 of what I want to talk you through today. And this is around your soul client. Now, I specifically use the word soul client rather than ideal client on purpose, because there is a big difference between soul client and ideal client. Your ideal client is the one that you've already probably been taught about and read about a million trillion times. Oh, like it's a woman and she's 35 and she's got 2.5 children and she lives in the West Midlands and she's living blah, 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 blah life. The ideal client ties you up in knots because you're thinking, yeah, but she could also be 45 and maybe she hasn't got any children. She might also live in a different country. Like, oh my God. So is that is that my ideal client, or is that my ideal client, or is that my ideal? Because we're doing it on a surface level. Ideal client work is surface level work, and it just doesn't work because we are not our labels, right? We are so much more than that. Just because I'm a mum and I have 3 children and I own my own home does not put me in a specific box. I am definitely far more than a mum. And there's such a big difference between a woman who's a mum and a mum who's a mum, you know, as well as so many other things. So first and foremost, let's just rip it up. Throw it in the bin, this idea of the ideal client that's just about labels, it's just about surface level, when actually, when we're connecting human to human, it needs to go so much freaking deeper than that. It needs to go to the heart of that person, to the soul of that person. Who is that person beneath the surface level stuff? Beneath the fact that they're a man or a woman, beneath the color of the skin, beneath their sex, I've just said that twice, beneath how many children they've got or where they live in the world, right? What's actually important is who your soul client is. So if an ideal client is the surface level stuff, what's a soul client? It's who your client is really, truly in the heart of them. So what are the things that matter when we think about your soul client? Well, it's the way that they live their life. It's what they believe about the world. It's the vision that they hold for their future. It's their like core values that they live by. It's the things that they will not tolerate in life. It's their model of the world. So when you're thinking about the person that you're here to serve, it's not about whether they're 34 or 64. The age probably doesn't matter at all. It's about what is their outlook on life. What do they believe? What are they searching for? What are they excited about? What are they living for? What's the thing that's important to them in their life right freaking now? What are the things that could hold them back because maybe some of the experiences that they've had, or perhaps because of how they see the world, the lenses through which they see the world? What are the things that that person holds near and dear to their heart? This is your soul client. But then we can take this a step further. So just tell me in the comments, when you've been thinking about creating content, have you been working from the perspective of the ideal client or the soul client until now? Just type it in. So either write ideal client or soul client, depending on where you've been with how you've been like coming at this, because most people are teaching you ideal client stuff, right? And then you're getting tied up in knots, and then you're struggling, and then you can't figure out what you should be saying where. That's when you get to overthink it. That's when it feels like it's not working, right? Okay. So there is then a second piece to this soul client work. And this ties into a little bit of the conversation we had yesterday. So this is about you being the fullest expression of you. And I believe I can say with a lot of certainty that 99.9% of us are not living the fullest expression of us, are not living like really at that edge, 100% in our truth. Absolutely no holds barred. It is so rare, so freaking rare that you come across an individual like that. Like, it's not even 99.9. It's way smaller than that. Now, is it true that you are conscious beings? Is it true that we are on this journey of evolution? Is it true that we're practicing walking our talk each and every day? Is it true that we're coming from a place of authenticity? Is it true that we're doing the inner work? Yes, 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 and yes. Yeah? I mean, I will hold my hand up, and I do the freaking work, the internal work, the external work. I'm constantly like looking at, how do I expand my consciousness? How do I become more aware so that I can become that like more expansive version of me? How can I find more of these parts of me so I can stretch into them, right? It's one of the things that excite me hugely about life. And I think that it's partly what we're here doing. Like, this is one of the reasons why we're here in these human bodies, to just experience, to just stretch, to just like really explore and discover. But there's always further. I really think that there's further that we get to stretch, further that we can go. I know that there are times when I'll say something just a little bit more softly because I don't want to upset someone. Or I'll play the game just a little bit to fit in so that I don't feel like the outcast who's weird on the side. I know that there are times when I dampen down who I really am in order to be able to be part of the crowd. And I think that if we're being honest, we all do that occasionally in some situation, right? I think that if we I just, like, even when you're in the presence of people like Joe Dispenza, Tony Robbins, Gabrielle Bernstein, all of those people, are they super conscious beings who are like really expanding into that? Yes, but they still have their human, and I'm still damn sure that their humanness comes in, and that there's times when they don't fully. So we can recognize and we can say, yeah, there's always more stretch. There's always a bit further we can go. And this is where this ties into your soul client. Because the way that we experience our reality is that we are very rarely able to observe ourselves in the now. We're very rarely able to catch a glimpse of who we are today. What we actually experience when we think about who we are is an echo of ourselves. We perceive our identity, right? When we perceive our identity, we're perceiving an identity that isn't created right in the now of who I am in this second, in this second, in this second. Our identity is built of who we've become over a period of time. So our identity is actually an echo of who we are. It's in the past. It's a past version of us. It's not the fullest expression of us as we stand today. Yeah? Is this making sense? So when we're thinking about who our soul client is, that we really resonate with, we're doing it from our past identity. And when we do it from our past identity, we can very often play small and play safe. Because we tell ourselves this story of, well, I'm not ready to work with people at that level. Or people at that level wouldn't be interested in buying that thing from me. Or I need to be better, further, stronger, faster, more successful, more whatever it is, before those people will want to buy from me. So what we often do is we go all the way back and we go, I'm going to work with these people. Why? Because I feel good enough to work with these people. Because I feel like I'm quite a bit ahead of the game for these people. But very often, and this isn't for all of you, but for some of you, the people here might not be ready to buy from you. And what makes someone a soul client is that they are searching for you. They are ready to make that investment. They are ready to say, yes, it might scare them. It might make them, it might be like, God, I don't know how I'm going to do this. But there's a part of them that goes, yes, I'm ready. I'm hungry. I want this. And that's what makes them a soul client. So when we're thinking about a soul client, yes, we're thinking about how this person operates in the world, who they are at a core level, what their beliefs are, what their needs are, all of these things. But we're also thinking about how ready they are to work with you now, how hungry they are to do this. And we're making sure that we're not talking to someone way back because it feels safe, that we haven't got a soul client who feels safe, because that's not a soul client. The soul client is a person who is a direct match for your energy, for your frequency now, who's ready to do that work with you now, who really sees that, like, yes, buying that thing, doing that work, purchasing that program is exactly the thing that they need. So we really need to up our game when it comes to our soul client. So I just want you all to check in with this, and I want to know how many of you feel like you might have been holding back a little bit or playing small a little bit when it comes to your soul client, because there's been a part of you that's been worrying, but are you good enough? Are you far enough? Do you need to be further before you can work with the person that you really, truly want to work with? Does that connect with any of you? Do any of you need to up-level your soul client a little bit more so that you're really speaking to the heart, to the soul of the person who's the right match for you now? Playing tiny, okay. So, for example, it might be that you went on this huge weight loss journey, right? And that you lost weight and you transformed your health. And maybe it was like 5 years ago now that you began that weight loss journey. And maybe your soul client that you've been working with is that person at the very start. But maybe it's not. Maybe the person you should be working with isn't the person who's just trying to start the diet or lose the weight or do the thing. It's the person who's transformed their life, and now they've literally got a different body. And it's like, how do I identify with this body and this life that I get to live with now? And because maybe they still identify with the person that they were before, just for example, throwing that out there. Yeah, so we really need to make sure that we're not playing small when it comes to the soul client, because if we are, there's going to be a mismatch and your message isn't going to hold the magnetism that it could be for your soul clients. Okay. And then finally, I want to weave this in as well before we go to like today's task. And this is around the visibility piece. So it's still around soul client, you giving yourself permission, visibility. Because very often in our businesses, we say we want to be visible. We say we want to be seen, and then we get freaking scared. So before we even go any further into this journey together around client attraction, how ready are you truly to be seen? Because when we say and state 100%, I am ready to be seen, we are activating something. And within that activation, there is both sides of the coin. There are those people who are going to see you and who are going to love you. And there are those people who are going to see you and who are going to say, not for me. You're going to get the people whose lives you transform with what you do. And you might well experience some of those people who are like, no, she's a this, he's a that, whatever, who probably don't even know you at all. Like it's literally someone just who has nothing better to do on the internet. So when we say, I am ready to be seen, of course, energetically, we want to put the vibration out that we're being seen for the people who resonate, but we've got to be ready to hold the flip side. Not because we should expect the flip side. In a way, we don't want to expect the flip side because we don't want to attract it to us, but we need to just be ready to be seen in our fullness. Understanding and accepting that we are not everyone's cup of tea. We are not for everyone. And trusting that the people who see us, who connect, will come into our space and we can build a relationship with, and it can be fantastic. And the people who see us who are not a match for us can simply walk on by. Walk on by. So we've got to give ourselves permission to do that. And definitely, yes, on the internet, we've all seen it. We've all seen the takedowns. We've all seen the nastiness. So I think this is where we have to not assume that something like this is going to happen to us. I think we should assume that it won't. That people who are not a match will just walk on by. But we've still got to own our readiness to be visible and to trust that, of course, our visibility is magnetic. And there are two sides to the magnet. There's the positive side, there's a negative side. We're going to attract and we're going to repel. And the stronger your magnet, the stronger you're going to attract and the stronger you're going to repel. But repel doesn't mean upset people. Repel just means people see you and go, no, not for me, and leave. So we can give ourselves permission. And I want you to feel into this now. In fact, just feel into your body. Close your eyes if you can. Feel into your body. And I want you to imagine you as a magnet, because we are magnets, right? We literally walk in magnets, and we have one side of us which is positive and one side of us which is negative. And actually, you can imagine it as, rather than a curved magnet, you can imagine it as this straight magnet that literally runs through your body. We live in an energetic universe. We live in an electric universe. We are electrical beings, right? So imagine this magnet of yours. Okay. So if you think about how you're showing up in your business right now, if you think about the conversations that you have in your business, if you think about how you own your value in your business, if you think about the boundaries that you hold in your business, if you think about your unapologeticness in your business, if you think about the decisions you make, the choices you make, the risks that you take in your business, how powerful is this magnet? Are you allowing this magnet to be fully charged? Really freaking powerful. So powerful that it can absolutely attract everything that you desire. Unapologetic. Living out loud. No holding back. Or is there a part of you that's almost dampening down this magnet? That says, oh, but I don't feel ready. What will people think? People won't pay that. I need to change price. I don't want to put that out there. Yes, I'm ready to be seen, but not quite in that way. I don't want to do that because what if it doesn't work? All of those things are dampening down your magnet. Every time you think, yes, I want to do this, but I'm scared, you're dampening down your magnet. Every time you think, I want to charge this, but no one will pay it, you're dampening down your magnet. Every time someone says, oh, what do you do? When you do yourself a bit of a disservice because you don't talk about it fully. So when it comes to us attracting clients, we need to be like feeding this magnet. We need to be strengthening this magnet. And the way that we strengthen this magnet is literally by going, yes, I am going to honor me. I am going to honor my work. I am going to honor my value. I am going to honor my message. I am going to honor my magic. I am no longer going to hold back. I'm going to take the risks, take the leap, say yes, experience what it feels like to live life in that bigger space. Rather than from that place of like, oh, I just need to see it first. I need to see it to believe it. That's not how the world works. We need to believe it to see it. We create our reality from the inside out. If you're constantly saying to yourself, I need to see it before I can believe it. I need evidence before I can believe it. I need something to happen before I believe I can do this, say this, sell this, own this. Then you're going to be constantly stuck in this cycle, not really getting yourself out there because you're literally like dialing down the power of your magnet. So as heart-led business owners, as heart-led entrepreneurs, we need to start recognizing that it's saying yes in our businesses that actually takes us to new places. It is taking that leap before we feel ready. It's finding a way to do the things that we desire to say yes to. When I look back on my journey, it's every single time that I said yes to the thing that scared me the most, that I grew the most, that I saw the biggest results. Every time I said no, because I got into scarcity, I hit a plateau. So we are constantly creating our reality from the inside out. It is our beliefs that are shaping the business that we own today. So I want you to do a check-in today. What are the beliefs that you hold about your business that could be holding you back? And I want you to be really, really freaking honest with yourself, because there is a difference between what we will say to ourselves in our head, because most of us are freaking smart human beings, right? And so our brains and our bodies have figured out a really good way to trick us. So your head says, of course I can make money doing what I love. And somewhere deeper in your solar plexus, it says, I don't think I can make money doing what I love. I think you've got to work hard to make money. I think my mum told me I need to stop doing all these things and that and that and that and that and that. That I'll never be a success if. Your head says, of course I can work smart, not harder. And your solar plexus says, you're going to have to work harder though, because it's not working right now. Your head says, of course I invest in my business. Your solar plexus says, well. So when it comes to the beliefs that we hold, we've got to be willing to go beyond our head, because most of us have read enough personal development books, listened to enough courses, done enough inner work that our head knows the thing to say. Our head is like, well, of course you get to create your reality. Well, of course you can work smarter, not harder. Well, of course you are worthy of more. Well, of course you are the woman or the man who, yeah? But how true is it that you actually believe it? So we need to go deeper. We need to go deeper and actually figure out, okay, your head might be saying that, but what's happening deep down in here? Because this is the place that's going to impact the energy. Like this is the charge, right? Those of you who work energetically, you know full well it's the solar plexus that's going to impact like how visible you are in the world, how you attract clients. So if there's a part of us there in our energy, if it's blocked, if it's shrunken, if it's misaligned in some way, it's going to impact our ability to attract the clients. All right. So I've got one more thing to share with you today, but this is like point 2, which is not the official point. But again, I think you should do it because I think it's going to help. I want you to sit with your beliefs. I want you to sit with the beliefs that you currently have, not what your head says, deeper than that could be holding you back from building the business that you dream of. We'll talk a little bit more about how you can change those beliefs later in the week. I might even do one of the masterclasses on it. We'll see. I'll see what comes up for you. But sit with this and see what comes up. Because if we can't at least be honest about the beliefs that we have so that we can first see it, look at it, oh, that's interesting. Where does that come from? What's that really about? Okay, how do I get to change that now? Then it's just going to stay there. That means we're going to be fighting against ourselves. That means building your business is going to be more difficult than it needs to be. All right. Last thing for today. And this is your homework for today. This is today's task. So let me share my screen. Okay. Can you see that? Can you see this? Is this up now? All right, cool. Now, we haven't done this today. We haven't talked about it. We've gone completely off point, but I think it's all been useful stuff. So we're just going to ignore that first piece. We're just going to look at page 2 today, right? So this is about how you communicate your value and make your offer a must. So this is tied into everything that we've talked about today, but it's taking it a step further. So very often, as heart-led entrepreneurs, our message can be fluffy as fuck. We don't want our message to be fluffy as fuck. We want to get more specific within our messaging. And obviously yesterday, this ties into the umbrella and the offers underneath it. It takes it a step further, right? So 4 quadrants. Number 1, the problem, the fears of your soul client. So the problems they're experiencing or what they're afraid will happen. The flip side of that, the desires. What is it that they desire instead? What do they wish would happen instead? But then beneath this, and so the problem and the desire, that's pretty simple. That's like preschool stuff, right? I'm sure you know this. But the thing that's going to make this more powerful, so this is like going from preschool to secondary school, is the symptoms and the benefits. Because this is the bit that people aren't creating content about, and you need to be creating content about. So yes, we want to be talking about the problems, the fears that our soul clients are working through now, because we want to show them that we resonate. I know that right now you might be feeling like it's freaking hard work attracting soul clients. You might feel like you're banging your head against a brick wall. You might be feeling frustrated because you've been doing all the things. You've been showing up, you've been posting, you've been creating content. You feel like you're working really hard, but your business isn't growing. And at night, when the lights go out, you lie there in bed, beginning to worry, panic building in your body. What if this never works? What if you don't find the clients? Can this business really be a success? If you don't start making money, what are you going to do? Are you going to have to go and get a job? Could you even find a job right now? Could you even stick at a job right now? Oh my God, no. If I did a job, what would that mean in terms of your life? No, you've got to make this business work. So how are you going to make it work? So how are you going to attract the clients? Right? So just an example for you. So we can create content, and you probably are creating content already about the problems and the fears. And you will know this because you will have experienced this, most of you. Like, how do I know to talk about the problem, the fears like that? Because I've goddamn well been there, of course. So I know how it feels. I know what those like 3 a.m. sweats feel like when you wake up in a panic because you've been in this like nightmare, and actually it's all tied into your business and what's happening and the pressure that you're putting in yourself and all of those things. And then, of course, we have the flip side. And I'm sure that all of you are already talking about the flip side to some degree in your business. So what do they want instead? Well, they want a business where there's security, where there's stability, where they feel like finally they know what they're doing, where they feel like they write a post, share a message, and there's growth. It doesn't have to be there and working already, but you want to see that it's working, that things are going in the right direction. That, oh my God, like last month, X number of people like commented and looked at what I was doing. Now there's more, it's grown. Last month I had this many in my group. This month it's grown. Last month no one was joining me live. This month I've had 3, 4, 5 people. Last month no one messaged me. This month I've had 3 messages from people. Okay, like, so finally I'm starting to feel like I'm moving forwards in my business. And because I'm moving forwards, I'm starting to feel more confident. And because I feel more confident, I'm starting to show up and my energy is different. And actually, when I put out like the offer for someone to get on a discovery call, people are booking the calls. And actually, I just made a sale. Yay! And I just made my second sale. Yay! And I just made my third sale. Yay! And that feeling went, oh my God, this is actually starting to work. Flipping heck, I've done it. I've cracked it. Now I've just got to keep this going. So we know how to talk about these things, but we also want to really tap into the symptoms and the benefits. So the symptoms are the internal, external symptoms, and I've actually just covered, I've weaved those in. I almost can't stop myself talking about these. So the internal symptoms are things like that, just that constant like burden of worry that you carry around with you when you're trying to build your business. How you might be out with your kids supposedly having fun, and you go to pay for the ice cream or the cinema tickets, and in the back of your head, like that little voice comes up, but oh my God, can you afford it? Where are the next clients coming from? Is this business even going to work? Is it okay that you're out having fun with the kids? Maybe you should be in your office, writing a post, doing a thing, following up. Oh my God, like, and before you know it, you like can't actually enjoy time with your kids, which is the whole reason that you started your business, because you're in fear mode. Or it could be things like I said, like the 3 a.m. sweats. It could be like arguments with your partner because they're saying, look, I think you need to just go and get a job. When is this going to work? When is the money coming in? You can't make that investment. You can't purchase that program. You can't do that. You need to make this work. Look at all the money you've spent starting this business. Like, when is it going to start paying back, for example, right? So it could be around all of that. And then on the flip side, when someone like, what do they have instead? Well, instead, it's like they go out for dinner and they pay the bill because actually now they're earning more than their partner. They don't need to worry about the bills that come in every month. They're just paid for, covered with ease because now there's security. Now you know that every single month is going to be a 5K month, a 10K month, a 20K month, a 50K month. Now when you say to your partner, oh, I'm going to invest in, they go, oh, great. If it feels good, go for it. Because they've recognized that actually you have so much value. You've transformed your life. Now they believe in you. Now they see it. But in the early days, they didn't understand it. And again, how can I talk about this? Well, because I was there. You know, I had the partner that in the early days was like, well, you need to make the money before you can invest in help. It's like, no, because I can't make the money until I actually get help. I need help with this so that I can build a business. When there was that stress around, but where is the money? Where is the money? Like, it feels like you're working really hard, but you can't see the money. Whereas now, it's a completely different story. So these are the things that you need to talk about in relation to what you do. Yeah? So fears, problems, desires, symptoms, internal and external, benefits, internal and external. Does this make sense? So what I want you to do is I want you to work through this and list this today. Why is this important? Well, number one, of course, it's important that you have clarity around it, right? I'm just going to stop sharing this. But the other reason that this is important is this is how you create connection with your people. This is how you're able to say, hey, I know how you feel. And instead it can be this. And you can create individual stories around each of them. You know, I could share the story about taking the kids to the cinema and like spending the whole time of the film, like almost having a panic attack because I was thinking about where my next client was coming from and how I was going to pay the bills and feeling really guilty that I'd just spent £20 at the cinema and we didn't have any money in the bank. Like I can share that story versus today where it's just not even it's just not a thing. So this is the content that's going to connect with your soul client. When you share from the heart, from the soul, when you share your stories and your experiences, you want to show them absolutely it's possible for them. You want them to feel inspired. You want them to realize that, you know what, just because you're there now doesn't mean you're always going to be there. You have choices to make. You can grow. You can change it 100%. So this is what I want you to work on tonight. And it's not just about, this is really big. So please, like, take this on board. The magic here is not just doing the freaking worksheet. Doing the worksheet, is that good? Yes. Do I want you to share it in the group? Absolutely, hell yes. But what's the real magic? What's really going to help you become more magnetic? What's really going to up your messaging? It's actually creating content around this. It's sharing these things as stories. It's weaving it into your message. It's you creating a compelling message that speaks to the heart, to the soul of your perfect match client, right? So just knowing this isn't enough. We've actually got to utilize it in the content that we're creating. And don't overwhelm yourself. Don't be like, oh, I'm going to create all the content. No, why don't you just start with creating one post today? Why don't you write one post where you take a symptom and you share one of your stories. You write in a story how it was versus how it is now. Just try it. Done is better than perfect. Don't get into perfection mode. It hasn't got to be perfect. We all get to be human, a work of art and a work in progress, all at the same time. Right. Whew. I am leaving it there for today, but I feel a little bit like, hallelujah. I feel like we made it because there was a point in today's training about half an hour ago when I thought my voice was going to give up. But we got to the end. The almost came through. It worked. I managed to share it all. Right. Okay. What is your biggest takeaway for today? Type it in the comments. Let me have a little look. Have you enjoyed this session? Despite my coughing, my spluttering, my all the things, I feel like at least we've managed to share it all. I've got all the important bits across to you. So I hope that you've been able to receive them. We have got an epic day 3, an incredible day 4 lined up. Hopefully I'll be feeling a little bit better tomorrow. Like, fingers crossed, please God. So it's not quite as difficult for me to show up, but we're going to keep on building on this, right? So you don't want to miss a thing. Come do it. Come work with me. The Reiki work. Thanks, Gaia. I appreciate that. I'll have a little bit more, please. And then we've got our 2 masterclasses. Keep a lookout for the sign up for those because you need to sign up. They're on Zoom. They're not here. Don't want you to miss that because you'll need your code to actually join the Zoom room, to join me for those masterclasses Sunday night and Tuesday. And then there's more to come next week. The other thing that we haven't got booked in this week that I don't think I should book in this week, but I think we could do next week is a Q&A. So would you like a Q&A? Just if you would like a Q&A as part of this, type in Q&A. Let me see how many of you are interested in a Q&A. Because as I say, it probably doesn't make sense to do it this week because I don't want to take myself a step back and not be able to speak again. But I reckon we could put it in next week, and I'd be totally up for doing that if it feels like it'd be useful for you all. Okay, right, beautiful. All right, go and have an epic Wednesday. Go and rock and roll. 5, what were they again? The 5 primary needs were money, health, relationships, status, meaning. All right, you've got this. Oh, the last thing I need to share with you is Facebook is being its usual pain in the ass. And it hasn't, you might have noticed yesterday's workbook, you couldn't just click on it like a link. Facebook was being difficult. So if we have that problem again today, you've got to copy and paste it into your browser. It's not because we were just being stupid. It's because Facebook wasn't letting us put it in as a link, basically. So if we can't do that again, copy and paste it in your browser, and then you'll be able to access the workbook. I'll also be sending out an email. All right. Mwah. Lots of love. Thank you for being here with me live. And for those of you who are catching up on the replay, mwah, I'll see you soon. Bye. Oh, and competition. Final thing, competition. If you haven't yet, like the video, comment on the video, and pop today's task in the daily task thread. Right, that really is it for now. I'll see you soon. Bye.